fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Local love. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, back again with the Salt Strong Podcast here. Got some exciting news about local love. You might be wondering, what the heck is he talking about? Well, this is the time of year, the end of the year, where we spend a lot of time reflecting on what's worked, what we did wrong, what we did great, how we can become better, how we can serve our insider members better, how we can get more insiders, how we can have more insiders stick around longer. I mean, we have many insiders who've now on their 5th or 6th year, which is the maximum because we've only had it around that long. And we've got a bunch of them. It's like, all right, how do we create more of these kind of lifelong members? And of course, we do have lifers as well who have invested in themselves and in us to be part of this club for life and never have to pay again. And it always goes back to listening, right? And in terms of how do we become better? And so we have been listening, and a lot of you have received some kind of random surveys from us. A lot of new members are getting surveys and what did you like? What did you dislike? We've emailed just kind of randomly. Don't feel like if you didn't get it that you got left out. And some of them is just listening to the comments and the feedback and in your emails. We keep track of every single email that you guys send into us with feedback. And we even have an email. It's feedback@saltstrong.com. And so when I'm talking about this feedback, I'm talking about all of it, from everything from surveys we've done to the emails we received, even the calls that all get tracked from our customer service team. So we're just constantly listening. And we shut down for 2 full days. The whole leadership team here at Salt Strong here just recently shut down for 2 full days and went off to we've just rented a house here in Winter Haven just so we could all be out of the office and be out of our own houses and have no distractions, and just had a whiteboard and all of our notes and all this data that we've compiled. And we're like, all right, how do we get better? And what are the members asking for? And there's a lot of stuff, as you can imagine. But one thing that we kept seeing over and over and over again, and really just became kind of a theme for this 2-day leadership meeting, was, hey, I'd love to see, it's usually like, hey, I love you guys, love what you guys stand for, love this club and getting value. I love saving money on tackle. I love the shortcuts. I love it's just, there's new stuff coming out every day, literally. And, but there's like, I wish there was a little bit more stuff in my area. And then the other thing that kind of piggybacks on top of that is I wish there was more meetups and more, really kind of structured events in my area. And we agree that would be awesome. And so the more we talked about it, we're like, all right, why don't, instead of just giving a lip service, say, yeah, great idea, let's do that. Let's actually do it. And so we put out a pretty big, wild idea, and that was to budget out a couple of hires that we're actually looking for, like right now, FYI, a couple of hires to do just that, to literally take what we've built online and take it on a more regional basis. And let me just give you an example. If you go to church, it's the same reason that you could have a big church with, let's just say, 1,000 members. It's the same reason they have small groups, right? It's localizing, if you will. You're putting your big congregation, your members, into smaller groups of people that you can get to know better and to be close with and to pray with. And then it's the same thing if you're a CCA member in our world. Right? I mean, it's the same reason there's CCA Florida, there's CCA Texas, CCA Louisiana, North Carolina, et cetera. And then you have the different chapters. Here in Florida, we have a chapter in every county for the most part. Right? So then you have chapter presidents, et cetera. Same with Cub Scouts, right? And Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts of America, right? You have the national organization, and then you have it broken down into troops, et cetera. And they do that obviously for a reason. It goes back to the local love, right? And you become close with people in your community. This is not anything new, but we're getting to the point now with our 35,000 members. We're like, all right, we have to invest in this. We can't just say we're going to do it. And honestly, we can't just rely on our members to do it. We've had some people like Andy Hong and a few others that have actually gotten groups together and done some stuff. I mean, Tom Ray, he was doing it pretty regularly, like every other week in that kind of Tampa Clearwater area. where he just put out a thing in our private community saying, hey guys, we're going to be, at this tackle store or this restaurant. I rented out the back room, or they're going to give us the back room for the night on a slow night on Tuesday night. And, we can come in here and talk fishing, have a speaker, et cetera. And so we're like, man, we for this to grow, just like with a small group or Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts or anything, you have to have someone in charge of it, and you have to have some kind of formula of success, right? There needs to be some training. There needs to be kind of a leader, if you will, of this, to someone to say, all right, here's what a successful event looks like. Otherwise, it could be chaos. It doesn't seem organized, right? And we all want to have some kind of organization of this. So we're talking about hiring at least 2 people to start, just to kind of build this out. And their whole focus will be about community. 1, obviously, our online community, but 2 is taking everything we've built online and putting it into essentially local chapters. And so if that's of interest to you, and that will be more of a volunteer thing, no different than having a scoutmaster or the main person of a small group in a church, that will be a little bit more of a volunteer. Now, we want to help out with that in terms of, booking rooms and getting giveaways and stuff like that for each little chapter. But no, that'll be a big thing that you see. And it's not going to happen day one. Obviously, I'm recording this here at the end of the year, and we still have to hire the people and really build out the framework for this to make sure it succeeds. But know that we are investing in this. It's going to be a big initiative for next year. And that goes back to the 2 things, right? It's the local love. Now we're going to have meetups. Let's just say you live, in Naples, Florida, right? We're going to have a little chapter down there for that Naples Marco area. And every month there's going to be a calendar of events like, hey guys, here's where we're going to meet up. Here, we're going to have a little tournament here. We're going to have just a little get together with, the families, or we're going to do a little kayak event here. And we'll have someone in charge of it for that area that also, has access to us, meaning we'll have full-time, at least 1 or 2 full-time people. That's all they do is help out with that, help organize it. If they need a little bit of funding and stuff, we want to be there for anyone who wants to take charge of an area. And obviously with a little bit of help and a little bit of training, we really want to grow this into this localized piece. And when we do that, that also means we're going to attract more guides. We've already got a bunch of guides, things like 50 different full-time guides are now doing the Smart Fishing Game Plan. So if you're not familiar with that, if you're a member, you have to check this out. I mean, this is part of your benefit. We've got literally 50 guides from North Carolina to Texas who are now every week, they're calling in like on their way home on the dashboard. They're on we call it the dashboard time when they're driving home from a charter, and literally just saying, hey guys, here's exactly what I'm seeing in this area right now. Here's where we're catching fish. Here's where we're finding bait. Here's the lures that are working, or here's the live bait that's working. We're finding them in this depth. We're finding this near this type of structure. It's like having a fishing guide in your back pocket. So we have 50 of those guides coming on. We'll certainly get more when we have more of this local love, and that just creates more content. That just creates more, where to find the fish in your area. Because that's always the question everyone has, right? Is, all right, number 1 challenge is, how do I find the fish, right? How do I find the feeding fish? Every time I hit the water, it's the same question I ask, the same question Luke asked. Our coaches ask it, all right, where do I find the feeding fish? And for some of us, it's easier than others. Some of it, it seems impossible. And the next piece of that is, how do I find the fish in my area or in my backyard or in this spot that I happen to be fishing this week? And that's what we want to solve for, and that we'll be able to solve for with this focus on the local love. But all of that starts first with a focus on the community. And so with our 35,000 members, we have a big chunk of our members who are in there. Sadly, though, just being honest, and if you've watched any of our giveaways, we do a pretty big giveaway every month. All you have to do, by the way, if you're a member, is to be in there, which a majority of you are actually getting in and looking. You're just kind of stalking and looking and reading, never actually posting. All you have to do, because I know for some of you, you don't want to post stuff, or maybe you don't want to ask a question publicly. You'd rather send it to us privately. I get that. Maybe you don't want to post all your fishing trips. I think you should. It's a great way to, 1, to celebrate it with all of us, but 2, it becomes your own little journal, if you will, where you can look back and say, hey, I caught this, and it was at last February, I caught this, and it was at incoming tide is when I was crushing on the redfish in this type of area. To me, it's a great way and obviously no one else sees that stuff. It's just you. It is a great way to kind of build up your little journal, if you will, on how to become a more consistent angler and use your own data and your own trends, not just the ones that we're giving you. But anyhow, I digress. Back to this community, we're going to have a massive focus on this community. The giveaways, like I said, that we're doing every single month. I mean, it's a fraction of the amount of members who are actually in there looking around and logging in. And all you have to do is even just make a comment. You do not have to do a full-on fishing report. You don't have to make a super elaborate post. Obviously, great if you do. If you have time to do that, that's awesome. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy sharing. I get it. Not everyone does, though. But all you have to do is at least comment on one of my posts. Hey, Joe, great catch. And that automatically enters you into the giveaway. And we're going to be doing something big. It's going to be well over a $2,000 gift in the month of January just for being active in the community. And this is not winning the lottery where there's a 1 in a billion chance. I mean, this past month, it was a 1 in 1,500 chance. I mean, it's not that, its chances are pretty good in the big scheme of things. And we're also going to start doing multiple gifts as well. So we'll have multiple winners every single month just to incentivize people going into the community. Now, here is the other really exciting piece of that. The areas or the regions that have the most interaction and the most people in there engaging, they're the ones that we're going to focus on putting charters in first, or chapters in first. Those are the ones that Luke and I will personally, in those first, the first few events, we're all going to be all hands on deck that we'll personally be at with all the coaches. Right? Because we want to make sure all the first ones are a massive, massive success. And so if we see that there's a massive group in Jacksonville, Florida, that's where we're going to do it. Or if it's, in Tampa, Florida, that's where we're going to start having these first events. And this will be something that we're doing hopefully every week. There'll be a new one going off in different areas. So this is another reason to get involved and get any of your friends involved and be active in the insider community. So this is the community.saltstrong.com. So community.saltstrong.com. That is the private community. That's where our fishing coaches hang out. That's where we're all personally posting all of our fishing reports. And literally, we personally show you exactly where we caught the fish. I mean, we're showing everything. There is so much valuable information in there. If you haven't checked it out, you've got to. To me, it's priceless. It's everything that we wish was around when we were really struggling to be consistent anglers, when we were switching over from freshwater to saltwater water many years ago. I mean, this is exactly what we wished was around. And we even have full-time guides who tell us they learned stuff in there and they're getting an edge by being in this community and being active. So all that being said, you're going to see a massive, massive change next year and just a lot of emphasis on the online community. And then we're taking the best of the online and then doing it face-to-face in person with these live events, this local love, if you will. And once again, we're going to do it and starting from, hey, here's the most active regions. Let's start doing live events there because we know we have people who are excited to be part of this community. And want to take it kind of the next step, if you will, with some really fun events with speakers and things to do for the kids and for the family, and ultimately, man, just the fellowship of being around each other and sharing stories and sharing things that have worked in our areas, right, in these specific areas, bringing some full-time guides on to speak as well, some local guides, and really creating something special. I'm really excited to see where it goes in terms of these these chapters, if you will. I'm just thinking of all the things like sororities and fraternities, right, in colleges. I mean, if you look at any big national type of organization or even big regional organizations, or even a big organization in a city like a massive church, they all have these little small groups, these small little chapters or communities for a reason. So really, really pumped about that. Love your feedback. And if this is something you're interested in and essentially becoming like, the president of your local chapter, let us know. We'd love to hear from you and continue to give us this feedback. It's so invaluable. Like I said, we spent 2 days just going through all the feedback you guys have given us over the past 6-7 months. And incredibly valuable. But that was the big takeaway. That was what we spent the most amount of time on, was talking about this local love, about regional tips in your area, so that we can cover you regardless if you're in Corpus Christi, Texas, or if you're in Wilmington, North Carolina, or Virginia, Maryland, wherever it might be. that we want to have experts and tips in your area, and then ultimately bring the love to your region or to your city where we're doing live events and really creating, something special. It's obviously the next step in us going from where we are today to, an actual theme park. And if you don't know about that, that's our next plan. That's our real big plan. And it's part of our written down mission, has been for many, many years, is to actually have a legit fishing theme park on 1,000 acres. And that will be next level. But we're smart enough to know that we got to take baby steps. And the next obvious step from going to a massive online community with 35,000 people and growing by the day is to take it, into smaller groups, right? And then kind of bring it back into one massive place that we can all come and enjoy all year long, that is kind of ever growing. So hope that makes some sense. Hope you're excited about this as I am. I know you are, because the majority of people have said this is what I want, that, hey, we want to see more events and more meetups in our area, and that we want to have more tips and more guides and more experts and more coaches in my area. And that is going to be our big focus for 2023 and probably beyond. I mean, it just makes sense that is the next frontier, if you will, for Salt Strong to continue to grow and ultimately just to continue to make an impact with you and in your own communities and in your own regions. So grateful for all of you. If you're wondering, hey, can anyone join in this stuff? No, this is going to be for members only. So these events I'm talking about, yeah, you can bring guests and you can have your family, but this will be, for paying insider members only. And so, I mean, everything that we do, for the most part, I mean, we're sitting here saying, all right, how do we get more members and how do we keep more members? I mean, just being transparent, those are our two big KPIs that we look at. And it's, once again, how do we attract awesome new members? We don't want just anyone. We do want great people who are willing to share and be part of a community. And we also want to have some stickiness, right? We're like, all right, how do we do so many awesome things for our members? And how do we create events where they just never want to leave, where it's so much fun to be part of this? And it's so valuable in terms of the time savings and the money savings that all of our members want to stick around for years and years and years to come. And that's what we obsess about. So I'm really stoked if you're already a member. Thank you so much. I know we have some people who aren't members, and I hear a lot of people. I actually met a gentleman the other day who ran into me in our downtown Orlando area. I happened to be there, and he's like, "Hey, you're the Salt Strong guy." And he's like, "Man, I've been listening to your podcast and I finally joined." He's like, "Man, I wish I had joined earlier." He's like, "I can't believe there's so much stuff." He's like, "I hear you talk about it, but," he's like, "I'd be honest with you, it just sounds so good to be, it's almost too good to be true. You have all this stuff." And he's like, "I was literally blown away with how much stuff is there." And he personally lives in that Central Florida region and fishes both coasts. He goes over to Crystal River area and then also to the, Titusville area. And he's like, "Man, you guys have so much stuff in this area." He's like, I'm kicking myself for not joining earlier. It has literally made everything so much easier to go find the fish in those areas. So if that's you, join today. It is completely risk-free. You just go to saltstrong.com. You'll see a little button to join now. And if there's anything we could do to help you or serve you, any of our members out there, please do let us know. We appreciate you big time. And my personal email, I always give it if you're willing to stick around this long, is Joe, Joe, @saltstrong.com. I can't get back to every single message, but I certainly read everyone. And a lot of times I have to forward them on to the right people if it's specific feedback that you want to share, or just the feedback at saltstrong.com that comes to all of us and we all get to read it. And once again, we compile all that data as well, just to make sure that we're listening and serving you at the best of our ability. So thank you guys so much. Hope you're excited about this Local Love initiative. And once again, get in the community. If you're currently a member, get in there now. Start making posts. Start being active. That is only going to help you guys get your little chapter and some events in your area quicker than others. So appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.